Wow, I found a nest. Ooh, I can't find the woodpecker. I'm going to call it. Is that a cigarette butt? Which is the best way to behave in those situations? I was trying to figure out a good title for this video because I think that ground rules for birdwatching is a little too harsh. So to all my viewers in English, if there's any idiom that you know or proverb that talks about ground rules or how to set ground rules, you can leave some comments below. I would very much appreciate it. With the increase of people doing birdwatching for fun or buying tours, it was really necessary to set some ground rules so as not to affect the very same thing that we love. So today I'm going to share some ideas on how to keep birding friendly to the birds. The well-being of the bird is more important than our observation. So avoid disturbing the bird or its environment. Be as quiet as a mouse. If you can, help cleaning cigarette butts and garbage. Many birds are found with their stomach full of microplastic. If you're lucky enough to find a nest, keep your distance and make sure that your presence does not cause the bird to leave the nest, exposing the eggs to predators and the environment. Birds are very jealous about the location of their nest and will wait for you to move away to arrive with the food, thus making the fasting time longer. Do not stand between the bird and its access to water or between the baby and its parents. Huh. Oology is so outdated. There are plenty of eggs in museums. Say what? Oology, the collection and study of eggs. Please do not collect eggs. Unless, of course, they're made of chocolate and it's Easter time. Many birds perch to rest during a storm, so avoid getting close and forcing the bird to take off, since it may be using its last ounce of energy trying to escape from you and maybe even die. How can we know that we're disturbing while we're bird watching? Very simple. If you notice that the bird changes its behavior, stops doing whatever it's doing, stops feeding, bathing, shows signs of stress, stares at us. Oh, it sounds like a lot of rules. Well, yes, it might. But to summarize it, we have to be like eco ninjas with binoculars. Whenever in doubt, remember the golden rule. The well-being of the bird is more important than our observation. Use of playback. What is playback again? Is the use of recorded vocalizations in order to attract birds of special interest or difficult to observe by artificially stimulating the response. And fizzing is to make the noise like and therefore attract the bird. These techniques generate a lot of debate among the birdwatching community. There are people who do not use it, others make calls at very specific times, and others overuse it. Each one of you will have to take a stand. What we all agree is that playback, fizzing, or use of instruments is a terrible idea when males are starting their territories during nesting and courtship. The bird reacts to the sound and invests energy and time getting closer and not doing what he is supposed to be doing during the reproductive season. However, if you decide to use it, keep in mind the following. Think for a moment. What is the purpose behind you using the call? It is not the same if you are doing a research or a census, or I just want to see the bird, or I have a client with a checklist, or I want to scare the pigeons off my roof. Remember that the well-being of the bird is more important than our observation. Colombia is a well-known country for its diversity of species and its birdwatching industry. They regulated and came up with a list of good practices. The Guide of Good Birdwatching Practices of Colombia 2017 says the following about the use of playback. In non-reproductive season, no more than 10 times per minute, and in reproductive season, no more than 5 times per minute. Among many other regulations, it establishes that the user must know about what sounds to use: alert, call, or song to attract mates, since each one has a different effect. The same guide bans the use of playback in protected areas. As you can see, it is not just pressing play, so ask yourself, do I really know what call I'm using? What happens to the bird in response to playback? Studies in sparrows have found two things. Number one, an increase in the levels of corticortisone, a hormone that regulates metabolism, immune reactions, and stress, and an increase on testosterone, which affects the natural mode of their reproduction and their social behavior. And number two, an increased rate of predation due to exposure. I bet you know a lot of bird watchers or stories about birds reacting to playback and being killed by a hidden predator. Remember that the welfare of the bird is more important than our observation. Try to know the local laws and the people of the place. If you are on private land, talk to the owner and ask for permission. Did you find a gate? Leave it as you found it. If you have to jump over a fence, do it with permission and, of course, without breaking it. Do not use vehicles on the beach, coastal dunes, coastline, rivers, and lakes like these people here. Take a picture where you can see the license number and report it. I remind you that it's prohibited by law in countries like Chile, and I'm sure that in your country as well. This upsets shorebirds that are trying to rest and feed after a long journey. If there's a viewpoint, take advantage of it, stay on the trail, and try to impact as little as possible if you walk cross country. If you're in a car, leave it well parked and not blocking the road. Contribute to the knowledge of birds. Make sure to upload your info to eBirds. Remember that every bird counts. What we know about populations and sites, it's an accumulation of experiences. Don't underestimate your records. Even if you only saw common species, how many wetlands would have disappeared had it not been for records that show the presence of species in an area? Just imagine how many more reservations can be created thanks to the contribution of all of us. A few weeks ago, thousands of dead birds were found. If no one reports, we cannot know the populations and where they are, and thus take measures to remedy the problem. Be especially careful when you come across vagrancy or threatened species. What is vagrancy? It's the occurrence of a bird far outside its normal range. Keep your distance and be sure to record where you saw it. If you can, take a photograph or make a video to ensure what you found. And be careful not to give exact details on nest locations, as these can attract egg collectors, hunters, or too many eyes. I would say maybe it's a good idea not to share your eBird list until a few days later, or first tell a specialist. In this way, scientists can take care of the specimen and take the necessary measures for its conservation. FYI, a lot of the pictures that I use in this video are not mine. They belong to different birdwatching clubs here in Chile and Argentina. Probably they will not make much sense to you, but due to copyright issues, I can use pictures from other countries. You're more than welcome to contact these clubs and maybe practice your Spanish and learn about the birds in South America. Do you know any birdwatching club where you live that I can get in contact with? I would love to learn about birds from other areas of the world. Thanks for watching this episode of Cabeza de Chorlito. I hope you enjoyed it. Do you think I should have included some other ground rules in this video? Leave some comments below. And if you like this video, don't forget to share and subscribe. Let me know what other video you would like me to do in the future. And remember our motto, birdwatching for learning, learning for sharing, sharing for caring.